guys, what's going on? Welcome back to this week's episode of the CPG Day Night Talk Show, where I invite a few of my planty friends to come on the show, talk about planty stuff, the community and whatnot, hang out and pretty much just have a good time. My next guest is someone I admire because she keeps it real. You get what you see kind of deal, and I love her. It's Pam from Pam's Pretty Plants. Hi, Pam.
Hey, how you doing? Thanks for having me.
Good. How are you?
I'm doing good.
It's exciting to have you on because, I've seen some of your videos, and the one thing I noticed is you do indoor-outdoor gardening.
Yes. I go both ways.
I love it. How are you managing all of that? And kind of like, what's your favorite part about outdoor versus indoor, and vice versa?
Well, currently I'm managing it somewhat poorly. We're in that glut season right now where everything is like, I've got a lot of harvest coming in from outside, and then my houseplants are doing a lot of growing, but they're also drying out so fast because it's been so warm. And so yeah, it's definitely a lot of work. So I'm kind of glad that I lost, all of my jobs. So I just have this to worry about. So, it keeps me very busy though, but yeah, it's not too bad. I try to do the garden in the morning when I get up, and then the houseplants kind of later in the day. So
okay. So when it comes to your outdoor gardening, are you doing like fruits and vegetables, or more like flowers and whatnot?
I'm kind of doing an even amount of both. I tried to focus the back part of my yard. I have very fortunate to rent a space that has an entire, like, almost house-size lot attached to the property that for some reason they can't sell it separately of the property. So we just have this big empty yard. So I've been trying to convert it, and I've been planting almost all native perennials. I'm really trying to like rebuild the natural ecosystem in my little space. I think that's really important if you have any kind of access to that sort of, privilege to have some land to convert. I think it's really good to try to replace some of the things that have been, bullied out by invasive plants or building or whatever. So I've been doing a lot of flowers in the back part of the yard, and then I have a annual flower garden in the front, so when people pass by they have something to look at. And so basically my veggies that I am growing are surrounded by, pollinator plants and flowers.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, it's working out really well for my first big garden. So far, nothing major catastrophe has happened.
Amazing.
So.
That's amazing. I'm struggling right now. I'm trying to grow some outdoor vegetables like tomatoes, and I got a watermelon, and I realized my watermelon's in this little tiny container. I'm like, I think I'm gonna need a bigger one for this one.
They do have some container varieties, but yeah, melons are tough in containers, and tomatoes are not an easy plant. And I think they're the ones that people start with, and I think that might discourage them because they're actually kind of a tricky plant. They have a lot of diseases and pest problems. So.
Right, and I think like if you have them as an indoor like vegetable plant, like you gotta like do like the self-pollinating where you take a Q-tip of the flower and kind of just spread that around, right? So
I do that with my squash anyway, just for fun.
Yeah, your houseplants. How many houseplants do you have right now?
I actually don't know. I don't know. I only count when I do houseplant tours, and I just did one. So as I edit that, I'm going to do like a kind of a plant count then, but I'm probably pushing 200 at this point, and I would really like to get it back to like 150. I just feel like it's getting a little unmanageable now.
Right.
And it's hard to make them look curated and designed when there's just so many of them. So
and I think that's like an important thing that new plant parents need to kind of understand is, yes, we love our plants, we go crazy over them, we want all of them, but the reality is very, very difficult to manage once you start getting a lot. And, I don't think
can't
it's fair.
all be summer rain oaks,
Exactly. No, she's great. She's like something about
try.
Her. Right. It's crazy, but it's because it's not sometimes fair to the plant themselves, right? It's like sometimes I'll walk by them like, I feel like that plant is being neglected. It's all the way in the corner, and I'm like, sorry.
I actually just discovered that I have broad mites in my house now because I bought from the farmer's market. I was trying to be good to my local farm stand or whatever. And I was like, I don't really need another tomato or pepper plant, but I'll just buy a couple with my usual vegetables or whatever. So I bought some. And those things brought so many bugs in my house.
Oh, no.
And I'm usually so much better about isolating plants. But really effed myself on that one.
Honestly, like, even the most experienced plant people, like, make that, like, I made the mistake so many times of just introducing the plant without necessarily isolating them at first. And next thing you know, it's like, oh no, it's out of control. But,
and you're like, I'll never do this again.
Exactly.
And like, you're lying. You will do it again.
Now let's talk a little bit about your YouTube channel. Like, you've had it for I guess you Harley and I were just talking about, there's like the OG content creators and there's like a new wave of content creators. And I'm thinking around like you, Adam, I think Becca around, and Nicole were around the same time. Like, what can we find on your YouTube channel?
Well, I don't think that I do anything that's like wildly different from other people, but I think what people like about my channel is that I don't really have a work personality, this is kind of what you see is what you get, and it gets me in trouble sometimes, but it's okay.
But I think that's one thing that's great about you is you keep it real, right? It's like, look, this is Pam, off camera, on camera, and yes, sometimes that may get you in a bit of, trouble, but I think that's just human nature, right? So.
Yes, totally. And I don't know, I just like to be real with people, and I'm sort of stumbling through this like everybody else, and I just like to be super honest about that. I don't like to talk about things that I don't have experience with. I know when I came into the plant community, I didn't really feel like I saw, me there, so I just thought, well, maybe I'll try this, and maybe there's other people like me that aren't finding what they're looking. I mean, I loved everything I was watching, but I felt like there's room to be silly here, and sarcastic, and politically active, and honest, and that's just who I am.
I think it's great, and Harvey and I were talking about how there's always space for someone, regardless, how you go about it or what your personality is. And I always said that even when I started as well too, it's like, look, someone's out there kind of will like me, whether that's a small public following, someone out there likes you, and I think it's great that, and because I watch your Instagram stories, and especially when there's a lot of like real issues going on right now, like you speak your mind and you take a position, and I think it's great, and I'm sure we've all experienced some negativity within the plant community, but just like any other community, it's we're people,
Yes. Totally, and I am not of the mindset. For some reason, I think when you get on a screen, people, they start looking at you like you're a professional, and you should have like your customer service personality all the time, and you should just take whatever people give to you, because if you don't, like, you're, bullying. It's very strange the way people have these expectations of you, and I really feel like it was important to me to manage those expectations right away. Like, I was like, you are not going to tell me what I'm going to talk about on my Instagram, on my YouTube channel. And, for me, politics are the practical application of your morals. And it is very important to me. So if that's something people don't want to hear, that's totally fine. Like, I don't get upset at all. And people will sometimes try to threaten me with, like, unsubscribing. And I'm just like, girl, go, like, bye.
It is interesting because, like, when people has this expectation that you got to respond to everything that they request for, that you need to do this, and the reality is, guys, like most plant content creators, like all of us who I feature here, we're all homegrown. We don't have a lot of money behind us, or like corporate money to kind of produce a lot of this. Pam just talked about how she lost her job during the economic time, and doing this as part of a way to do that. And I think it's important for you guys to kind of support the community and look at it through that lens, because a lot of us is homegrown, and like we do this as part because we love it, we enjoy it, and we're gonna be us regardless. But I think it's important, and I think it's great that that's one thing that I really do like about your channel, Pam. It's like, you're you.
Yeah, it's nobody. This isn't what I do for money, so it's like you're not gonna bully me into being quiet, you know? Like, no.
Absolutely. But it's interesting. So, but speaking of the plant community, and there's a lot, plant business in general. A lot of, within the plant community, whether you do YouTube or Instagram, whether you do it for money or do it for fun, there's also like sellers, plant sellers. And, I find that, I think it's great, I always encourage entrepreneurship. I got an entrepreneurship background. I think it's important. But I do also find that there's some sellers who I think take advantage of the demand. Like, I've seen cuttings on Etsy that, I don't know, what's your take on this?
Well, if people who are familiar with me will know that I am not a capitalist. I am not a fan of that at all. And being a person who considers themselves very connected to nature, to me, I have a lot of internal conflict with involving money and plants. And there are exceptions. I do feel that there are sellers out there who, like Enid from NSE, Kaylee Ellen, they take a lot of time and a lot of risk when they're importing plants. They acclimate them for weeks, even months sometimes, before putting them up for sale. So if they're charging a little more for that care, I'm okay with that because that's labor, and I believe very firmly in paying for labor. But when it comes to people that are importing whole truckloads of plants, they're not acclimating them, they're throwing them right out the door, charging triple what they should be. I saw like a philodendron micans cutting the other day for like $40.
Oh, wow.
Are you out of your mind? I got that at Walmart, you know what I mean? Like, it's just absurd to me. And I just think that that's disgusting on the same level that I think all rampant, greedy capitalism is disgusting. So I don't mean to like shit on, I'm sorry.
No.
I don't mean to like be talking down to plant sellers or about plant sellers, but I just think you can kind of tell the people who genuinely care about plant people, about delivering a good product, and then you can tell the people that are just here to cash in on a fad.
I completely agree, and I think there is a way of doing business, and there's a way to value your products. Your examples of the additional care, the additional effort to make sure they're well rooted before you kind of just throw them out there. Because there are some sellers who literally will buy a plant and will just start cutting it up and just a bit of roots and then just out the door. And it's like, and next thing you know, I feel bad for a lot of those people who had negative experiences getting these plants. Next thing you know, they're not thriving. So I think it's but at the same time, I agree with you. There's a way to operate the business, just as long as you do it with good values and a lot of effort in there.
And not doing so really hurts the whole community because it makes, like, I'm anxious about ordering from like Etsy sellers without a lot of recommendations because I don't really know what they're doing. So I'm more apt to go to a bigger seller because I know that I can trust them. So you're really hurting your own industry by acting that way as well,
Absolutely. It's an interesting times right now in the plant community for sure. Especially right now too, where there's just, I just did a video on like, you don't spend so much money on plants that, and I think it's important for people
that was a great
to
video.
That. Oh, thank you. Yeah, because I think, it's kind of getting out of hand, to be honest. And I feel bad, for a lot of these new plant parents. They're trying to get and spend so much money on it. And it's heartbreaking when your plant is dying or not doing well.
Yeah, well, that's that capital, that unchecked need to consume that we're told we need to have these impressive collections, especially if you do YouTube. Like I can't tell you how many people message me and they're like, I really want to do YouTube, but I don't have any cool plants.
No, you don't need to have cool plants to do it, though. You don't.
Hurts my soul because I watch a lot of people who don't have tons of cool plants, but they're fun to watch and they're smart.
Exactly. And I would say, like, you can make a basic plant not look basic.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Some of my favorite plants are very basic.
Let's chat a little bit about the YouTube life. It's been I know for me I had a great time. We were part of a little collaboration with Maria, and trying to encourage other people to do it. What's kind of your experience been like since you started YouTube, and what's kind of your advice to people who want to get into it?
Well, first of all, if you want to do it, please do it. I really believe. Some people may know I lost my brother last year, so ever since then, like, my mindset has really been that, like, we are not here long. And if you want to do anything, not to get all like woo woo on you, but like if you want to do stuff, you better start doing it, because you know, we don't know if anything will come out of 2020. We have no idea where this ship is headed. Okay, so like you're gonna want to do what you can do ASAP. But for myself, I have a very hard time with time management. I have raging ADHD. My psychologist commended me on getting through college so, you know, in 10 years. It's very hard for me to manage time, to stay focused, to discipline myself, to sit down and edit. I have a hard time sitting still. Even though I enjoy the process, it's difficult for me to start. So my videos are a bit inconsistent, but I also feel like by not forcing myself to record when I don't feel like it, sometimes my videos just come out better. But I think that's been the hardest part for me, is just the time management and trying to keep, you know, relatively consistent content, because it is important to the algorithm and all that stuff to keep posting. But
But I think at the same time though, you kind of need to do what you want to do and how you kind of work. Like you kind of need to kind of fit that into it. Notwithstanding, there's, you know, a formula from a technical aspect of like the algorithm and posting consistently. But I think if you're consistently inconsistent, I think that's still okay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's the way I look at it.
On my tomb.
No, because I noticed that even with algorithms and with Instagram, is like before, when I first started, I was posting consistently, and the algorithm figured out I was consistent. And then I kind of broke that chain, and I got into like a more inconsistent pattern. And as long as I was inconsistent about it, I noticed it was still like, okay, there's still growth. I just now learned a different way of me doing it. So
that's like lowering the algorithm's expectations.
Right.
I
but
love
still,
it.
yeah. So, but I think to your point though, like you have to, if there's something you want to do, you've always thought about it, just do it, because
oh God, yes.
You know, life is too short, and I agree with you. I don't know where 2020 is gonna. This has been a crazy year.
Yeah, I mean, you could have an aneurysm and drop dead tomorrow. You know, you just your legs could, you know, be crippled. You have no idea. So it's like, and even if your legs are hurt, you still can do a bunch of stuff. And like, I'm very passionate about that.
I think it's an important message. You guys do what you want to do.
Yes.
Don't wait for the perfect time and the perfect opportunity. Start now. So.
And like the number one thing I always hear that stops people from doing YouTube is that they're afraid of trolls.
Oh.
I always tell people, like, those people, feel sorry for them, because I can't even fathom having the time to sit around and watch stuff I don't like just to thumbs it down and like leave a negative like I can't imagine taking that on as you know, like right now, just more negativity. So like feel sorry for those people. Don't let them stop you.
Absolutely.
Like, who are they?
Yeah, exactly. And it's gonna happen. Yeah, you're never gonna prevent it. It's gonna happen. But like to Pam's point, you know, you just let it be, and you move on.
It gets easier. It gets easier to just be like, okay.
Well, you know what? For me, I end up laughing about it now because, you know, the first time I heard it a bit, but over time we're like, you know, I grew a thicker skin, and I think that's one thing I like about doing this and putting myself out there is like, at this point, I don't care what people think of me or how they want to judge me, and it's like, imagine having that confidence in my early years and how I went through life, like. It's an amazing what it does to you when you do put yourself out there. It's
liberating. It's so liberating to not give an F what anybody thinks about you. I tell people all the time, give less Fs.
Exactly.
None of them.
Yeah, exactly. These are great topics, discussion, because it's something that I've always wanted to talk about in a much more just putting it out there, and you know, just really like letting our audience know that there's other things that goes behind the community aside from pretty plants or like beautiful looking foliages that you guys see here, right?
You're really watching somebody's journey, like you're participating in it. It's kind of cool.
It is kind of cool. Who is your plant crush?
Oh my gosh. Oh, I have so many. My plant crush. Right now, it is a woman named Pamela, also a Pamela. She has 2 L's, and her channel is Pamela P. She's at Houseplant on Instagram. Okay. And she is just this beautiful, funny woman, and she has been dealing with racism and other kinds of like inequalities in the plant community in video form. And her way of just dismantling poor arguments is Oh, love it. So right now, she be it, yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. It's good that you, not only do you admire someone because of their plants, but also kind of just the way they operate, their character.
Yeah, just a real good moral fiber. Love that. Into that.
Awesome. When it comes to the plant community, I often find that there's I heard this through someone else that there is there a clique? Do you think that there's a clique?
Oh God, the click thing. That this goes up. Did somebody tell you this drives me crazy? Did someone let you know? That bothers me a little bit because as an adult, as a independent woman, I feel that it is well within my rights to choose the people that I interact with on a daily basis, and if people have been negative towards me, and I think that I'm a reasonable person who does try to work out issues before they result in, okay, we're just not going to talk. But I feel like me making that decision once or twice over a year and a half's time has painted me as some kind of mean girl or something. I am literally friends and really in love with 99.9% of this community. I really get along with everyone well, and the people that I don't get along with, I don't even talk to, and I don't wish any ill will. Do your thing, man. Do your thing. But I mean, there's definitely closer friend groups, but we all work together. We all collaborate.
But I think that goes for any group or anyone. Like at the end of the day, whether you're even in your own real life, you have a group of friends. You say, for example, you play sports on a particular league and whatnot, and you're gonna gravitate to certain people. That's just it. You get, and I think that goes the same thing with the plant community. There's people who I interact with more because I've just gotten to know them and I vibe with them. Not to say that we're like horrible people for not engaging with certain people, because I agree with you. Partly it's a big community as well too. It's hard to even find time. But
and it's so silly to me because I think of all of these giant collaborations that we've done, how welcoming we've been, any kind of groups that we have, we put it out to everybody. We really try to welcome me especially. I have gone out of my way, I think, to really make sure that no one feels scared to approach me, especially, but the community as a whole, because really, there's a lot of drama, I feel like, on Facebook, but within the plant community, it's not really that much. It's just not.
I heard about that on Facebook specifically because I'm not on Facebook, so I'm
not either.
Yes, I'm a little bit not in there. So when people started talking about it, and I was like, oh, I had no idea that was even a thing or going on. And then as I began to, interact a little bit more, and I was like, okay, so maybe it is happening. But again, I don't think it's unique to the plant community.
Not at all, no.
Exactly. I think to your point, Pam, we're all very open and welcoming. And Pam is very, very sweet, just like you guys know. So I'm a little surprised that people even have that view of you.
I am too. I actually had somebody send me a screenshot from one of those Facebook groups of people talking badly about me, and I was like, I don't want to see that. That hurts my feelings. Please don't show me that, because I'm not. I really try. I know that I think it's just because I'm so assertive about my beliefs that people take that as me being a mean person, and I'm really not. It actually makes me extremely uncomfortable to hurt someone's feelings all. So
and it's tough because it's you're just being you. You're being real, right? Yes. And again, we're all not going to be everyone's cup of tea. We get that, and I think, but at the same time, I think it's important for people to realize that we are also human. We also have feelings. We also have emotions, and I think I always encourage everyone, not just online, even in your own real life, that assume good intent from everyone. And I think if you operate that way, you'll have a much more better experience with people. So,
and even when it's not good intent, it isn't about you. That's probably their stuff, So I just try not to take that onto myself too much.
I love how this episode became real talk.
I do too.
I'm gonna title this the real talk episode.
Yes, I'm into it. This has been great.
Yeah, no, like I said, it's sometimes we kind of just need to like, be open and talk about what's some of the issues that sometimes happens and experience.
Honestly, it's very liberating to just say how you feel, because I feel like when you have to, I don't know, like put up this BS front, like you have to remember everything that like I don't have a good memory, so I just have to be like really honest all the time because I wouldn't remember what I was fudging lies about or whatever if I did. So
that's awesome. Pam, you have a houseplant to show us for show and tell.
I do.
All right.
And this is proof of how wonderful this community is.
Okay.
This is my Monstera albo.
Oh my gosh!
So beautiful, right? And we were talking earlier about how I'm not really a fancy plant person.
Mm-hmm.
This is not something I probably would ever spend money on myself.
Mm-hmm.
I have I don't know, Catholic guilt about money spending or
Mm-hmm.
something, but I got this plant from Rachel from Heart Shaped Leaves.
Oh, wow.
Who has
Rachel
always
is
been
so sweet.
Just a wonderful friend to me. I love
Yeah.
her so much. And she actually sent me a node of this plant over the winter.
Okay.
We were having some unseasonably warm weather, and
Uh-huh.
her and I made the poor decision to take a risk, and it did not pay off. The node rotted, and unfortunately it did not make it. And
Oh.
Rachel, being the saint she is, who did not need to do this at all, sent me an even bigger cutting this
Oh,
time
wow.
with
Wow.
2 nodes on it in case one died.
Oh,
So
wow. That is beautiful.
don't
I
come
mean-
from my community, okay? Or my clique. Thank you.
No, but that is a great example of how great this plant community is, because Rachel could have easily sold that for a ridiculous amount of money, right?
Seriously. And she's got babies to feed, like...
Exactly. and the fact that, she not only sent Pam a note previously that didn't make it, but now here's another beautiful one with a couple of leaves. Just the sweetest thing. And it's funny, Harley and I were chatting about Rachel. I need to, get her on the show because I want to hear the other side of that plant swap story. That was so fun, but she's great. Pam, this is so fun. Thank you again for being on the show and being you and being real.
Thank
Love
you.
you for that, and I
Thank you
think
so
it's been
much.
great.
Thanks for having me.
Awesome. Guys, I'm going to link Pam's channel in the description below. Be sure to follow her. Other than that, hopefully you guys enjoyed this episode, and we'll see you guys soon. Bye.